What
All
is
right,
up?
so we are live here for Ole Miss, Georgia. Ole Miss gets the ball first, and they will start at
Yeah,
their own 25 as it went for a touchback. And looks like they jumped false start to start the game for them. That's not how you want to start when you're playing the number 2 team in the country on the road.
yeah. I'm currently trying to get my feed set up. I'm like watching the game, but it's being kind of glitchy. Um, so I'm trying to get it set up right now, and I think it is working. Yeah, there we go.
It was the center that jumped as well,
Yeah,
which is interesting there. So first and 15 now. If Georgia's going to lose a game in the regular season, this is going to be the one to do it. As
yeah,
Dart going deep on the first play, overthrew his man, had Wade down the field, open, wide open, and missed him, just barely overthrew him. That was a touchdown right there.
yeah. Okay, I am going to try to close this app and reopen it. For whatever reason, my Sling app is like when I'm trying to refresh it to get it to like load and speed up because it's behind. It's showing the Lakers Suns game from last night,
Interesting.
and it's yeah. So I am currently. I just redid the restart of the app, and it should.
The second and 15 little swing pass out to Judkins, and he gets a yard and then gets hit hard. So third and 14 from their own 21 here for Ole Miss. They're only converting 36% of the time on third down this year. 95th in the
Yeah,
country. Dart drops the throw, steps up, dumps it off down low. That is the Judkins, and he's going to be about a yard short, half yard short of the first down, bring up a fourth and half a yard. And we know how Kiffin likes to play. Would not be
yep,
surprised at all if he goes for it here, even though he's at his own 34.5 yard line.
yeah. What's your clock at right now?
They snap it, and Judkins gets it. They
Nice.
Yeah, they went direct snap to Judkins. Dart started walking off toward the sideline. They go direct snap and they get the first down.
What's
My
your
clock is
game
at
plan?
13,
Yeah.
13:40.
Okay, so you are exactly 15 seconds ahead of me.
Let me click back 15.
Okay, appreciate it. Also, West Virginia scores on a nice touchdown run from C.J. Donaldson. So they're up
What's your play
early.
clock at?
I've got 13:31, and I just saw a
Somehow went
run
back
for
15
about 3
seconds.
yards.
So I went back
Okay,
15
it should.
seconds and was still 10 seconds ahead of you. I'm at
Okay.
13:17 now.
Yeah, I'm literally a second ahead of you. So yeah, we're right. Same.
Okay.
We're literally at the same time. Um,
Yeah, I just hit
it's
13:05.
kind of. Yeah, I just hit 13:05. Yep, I'm right there. Okay, second and 7. Man in motion on the right side. Going to be a shovel pass. Stiff arms two guys, and that's going to be a first down for Ole Miss.
Yeah, nice little play there. The little kind of quick option play, Dart, quick look, nothing there for him. Nice little pitch off to Judkins, who is one of the best backs in the SEC, but hasn't really been as effective in terms of stats this season as he was last year. But you just saw on the screen there, 27 broken tackles this season, eighth in the country. So he's been good. And Dart on the keeper this time, he's going to get up near about midfield, bring up uh,
Yeah.
about a second and 7 after about a 3 yard gain.
Of course, as soon as we get it figured out, my feed goes out. So now I have it. Okay, we're good. I'm back at. It's freezing. I'm currently seeing the replay. I just saw Dart. Right now I'm seeing Dart getting like almost tackled and then throwing it. Okay, I've got
Oh,
11:48
I'm right there.
play clock
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
21. Okay, cool.
Play clock at what?
I have a play clock at 14.
Okay.
Play
Yeah,
was
I'm right
just
there with you then.
started. Dart runs, and it's going to be another Ole Miss first down. I shared the link with all my friends. I texted it to them, so
Okay.
we should
All
have
right.
some some of my school friends. I have one person who I went to school with who's an Ole Miss fan. And obviously we both know a decent amount of Georgia fans.
Oh
And
yeah,
that's a
for sure. And
huge
a
play
huge
for
pass
Ole
there
Miss
from
down
Ole
inside the
Miss down the
5.
sideline. Yeah, to hit his tight end down
Wow.
to the 4. But Ole Miss already had
Yeah.
an offensive lineman look to be shaken up. Now the tight end gets up a little bit shaky here as he took kind of a weird, awkward bounce. He'll stay. Nah, he just went down now as he's. It seems like it might have just knocked the wind out of him.
Yeah. I will let
But
you know that until last Saturday, my Saturdays were full of baseball, so I have not watched that much of either of these teams. Um so I'm not an expert by any means on them, but I know a few things.
yeah, Ole Miss has had. They've had a pretty good offense so far this season. The
Oh
one game
yeah.
they didn't was against Bama. They only managed 10 points and lost that one. The defense has been
I watched
somewhat improved. And in Georgia, they're 9-0. They've barely gotten by every week. It's been a struggle for them pretty much all season.
Yeah, I watched the Georgia game last week and the Ole Miss game. I think it was last week or a couple weeks ago. I can't remember which.
Okay, I got you. As it looks like we
But
got
yeah.
the football expert in here with us now.
Yeah, and in the chat I see CJ. What's up?
He says, "Am I really the only one here now?"
Here.
So
As I
long
see in
time no
his
see.
profile picture, he's a Georgia Tech fan. Thoughts on the game today for your Yellow Jackets? Let us know in the comments. I was there. Nice win for my Tigers. As you know, the offense was a little bit shaky in the first half for sure, but really started to put things to after that 10-minute long drive to score. They really started wearing the Georgia Tech defense down. It's first and goal for Ole Miss from the 5. Judkins makes a man miss, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown, but there is a flag down. Hold on, there is a flag down. And they're going to get Ole Miss with holding.
Okay, yeah, I just saw that quote unquote touchdown before the flag.
So how
No,
are you
that's
guys doing?
100%
Can
a
you
hold.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you correctly.
Okay.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. So West Virginia up at the moment. That's good.
Yeah, I'm watching it on the second TV. It's kind of cool. So I was, I had the game on, and it just so happens that one of the Brews announcers is doing the game for West
Yeah.
Virginia.
First and goal
Which
Yeah.
from the 15, and Ole Miss going to score again. Judkins broke 2 or 3 tackles. Gets in this time. No flags. Ole Miss strikes first. Up 6-0. Waiting on the PAT now.
What a great run.
Nice job blocking there from Ole Miss.
Oh yeah.
All clean that time.
Yeah.
No holding on that play. It's a
A
nice
good
drive
first
there for
drive
Ole
or a good
Miss.
drive here from Ole Miss.
Oh yeah, for sure. 11
Yup.
plays, 75 yards, 4.5 minutes. Not bad at all.
Some missed tackles from
And
Georgia on that play, plus the good blocking. That's going to equal a touchdown for you.
in Ole Miss, they really worked it to a lot of different guys. It wasn't just a one-man show all the way down the field. Got a lot of different people involved on their way down the field on that one. So that's nice to see from Ole Miss too. Now the only concern so far early on for the Rebels is they got an offensive lineman that was injured and went out. I believe their left tackle, and then their tight end banged up after that big catch. He had to put him down at the 4. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see how what happens with that.
For sure. So what were your thoughts on the Clemson game, Lincoln? I know you were saying a little bit about that, but
I'm sorry, what was that?
What were your thoughts on the Clemson game?
I think the defense played really good. 4 picks by 4 different true freshmen, so that was nice to see. Nice to see the young guys getting a lot of, a lot of work in. We were down a lot of guys defensively, so it was still good to see the way that they played. I mean, Georgia Tech had 1 passing yard basically the entire first half, and just a few big run plays was the only reason they had any yards really in the game in the first half at least. In the offense, they came out struggling a little bit, but then they went on that long 10-minute drive, put a touchdown up on the board, and from there they just went to work on the Georgia Tech defense. Klubnik looked, he looked pretty bad to say the least in the first 2 or 3 drives, but after that he started looking really good. Had a nice pass that he squeezed in to between 3 different guys, the Brenning stool deep in the red zone, from about the 4-yard line, I think it was, on 3rd and goal for a touchdown. That was a nice pass from him there, and I mean 4 touchdowns, threw for I think 300, 200 something yards. So it was. I think that it was a good team game this week, and they look good all the way around. And just
Yeah.
just another nice week to put with last week to just keep the momentum going for this team, because that's really been the biggest thing is they've had these big games and they've lost them. It's kind of killed their momentum. And so, while they're already struggling, just fundamentally, so it's nice to at least get the confidence and the momentum going for them after a big win last week against Notre Dame, and then to follow that up with another huge win at home against Georgia Tech and just blew them out, to say the least. So that was definitely
huge
nice to see
maybe
from them.
pushing. Yeah, huge maybe pushing a little bit.
It's a huge win for this team's confidence.
Looks like we have a comment here from True North Packers fan.
True North, what's up?
So,
True North, how's it going? I see you're also a fellow Packers fan. It's been a tough season for the Packers this year, but not
Yeah.
as tough as the Bears. Not as tough as the Bears.
hey, do remember this. We've also had our quarterback out for multiple weeks, and we have a Division II starter, and we have a number 1 pick. So it's
Also,
a tough.
remember this: you didn't look good at all. You've honestly looked better with Bagent, whatever his name is, than you have with Fields in
Well,
a good
you're
part of the
also
season.
you got to also remember who we were playing, Lincoln.
Oh, I know, but you've looked better without Fields than you have with him.
I would disagree based on who we were playing.
As Georgia on their first play gets about an 8-yard run there, that's gonna be the thing to watch for in this one. Is we know the Ole Miss offense can score. We know the Georgia offense has been pretty solid. The biggest thing is how does this Ole Miss defense play out, because that is the big concern for them. Is if Georgia is able to get a few stops, can the Ole Miss defense match that and get a few stops themselves? And Brock Bowers, for those of you who don't know, is back for this game and is starting, so that'll be big for the Georgia Bulldogs here to get their number 1 target back on offense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just quick score update. OU ties WVU 7-7 on a touchdown run.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay, so
But
7-7 ball game there in Oklahoma. As Carson Beck dropping back on 1st and 10, gonna throw it, got a man for a first down, breaks a tackle inside the 20 to the inside the 15 to about the 12-yard line of Ole Miss. Huge catch there, catch and run for Georgia, sets them up nicely in the red zone now, and they're looking to even the score up. Nice pass there from Carson Beck. Look to his left, nothing there. Look back to the right, delivered a nice pass to Thomas, and he made a big play out of it after the catch.
yeah.
Mhm. Man, talk about disappointing teams. Nebraska getting another loss to Maryland.
Oof.
Shocked there by that win.
Oh yeah, it's just man, that was an ugly game. Final score 13-10.
Yeah.
It was definitely not one that was fun to watch, but you're down right now by a game in Roundup. We got one more disagreement game that is kicking off here in about 5-10 minutes. Be LSU in Florida. That'll
Yeah.
either give me a 2-game lead or tie us up. You got Florida, I got LSU in that one, so we'll have to keep a watch on that one.
Yeah, definitely. But the Missouri game, man, that was a beatdown.
It was. I thought Missouri would win, but I didn't think it would be more than 10 points.
Yeah.
I thought 10 points was the
Vegas was
most they would win by.
Yeah, Vegas was really wrong about that one. They had Missouri +2.
Wow. Beck
Yeah.
gonna throw it now. Got his running back out of the backfield. Got a first down to the 2, and he'll be hit there and stopped. So
Do you
both
think
these
it?
offenses going on good drives here to start the game.
Yeah. The Utah game. What are your thoughts about that one? Washington continues to struggle a lot in these games. What are your thoughts on that one?
I wouldn't say Washington struggled. I mean, I wouldn't say that. Well, they have
It's a
struggled in the games.
7-point
They
win.
they have struggled in the games past, but this is against a good team. They're playing an elite. They're playing a top 10 defense in the country. No, I will say Washington's defense continues to struggle against bad offenses. Yes, but I don't think you can really say anything about the way the offense played. They're playing a top 10 defense. They put up 300 something pass yards on them. Penix threw for I think it was 360, threw for 3 or 4 touchdowns. So, it
Well,
was
I'm saying it as a program that Utah lost to Oregon 6-35 and barely beat USC and struggled against Oregon State and struggled against UCLA. Like this, you should not be beating Utah by 7. You shouldn't.
well, I mean, it's different every week. I mean, Clemson barely beat Wake Forest. They lost to NC State, lost to Miami, then came out and beat Notre Dame. Like
But
it's just
the
it's
difference
it's
is
different week by week.
but this is a trend. You're looking at a 9-point win against Stanford, an 8-point win against Arizona State, a 10-point win against Southern Cal, a 7-point win against Utah. I'm starting to become more and more concerned about this Washington team and less concerned about Oregon.
Well, I mean, I don't think there should be any concern about Oregon. I mean, I think that they showed in that. I think they proved in that game that they were the better team. I mean,
Well, yeah, but I just mean it's the less and less they continue to look more consistent and better and so on and so forth.
and I think with Washington, the defense isn't very good for them. We all know that. But I think with Washington, the biggest thing with them, like every team has those games like Washington's had where you play, and yeah, you can call it a trend. But I mean, you look at some of these other teams. You look at a team like Georgia. You look at some of these Ohio State. Like they're doing the exact same thing. So I don't think it's anything to look much into. But I mean, obviously, yes, you do take away from that Oregon probably is
Well,
the better
Ohio
team,
State is
which
not.
you watched them play on the field, and they're obviously the better team.
Ohio State, I don't think is struggling, quote unquote, as much as Oregon has.
You mean Washington?
Or Washington, you know what? Yeah.
Yeah, but also look at who Ohio State's played. They haven't played anybody like like Washington has. USC, very good offense. Ohio State hasn't played an offense like USC. You look at
No, they haven't. But USC is also, or Washington has also not really played, or has also played worse teams generally, like Arizona State and Stanford.
they have, but some of those teams you threw in there is a Utah team. Utah, I mean, the only comparable team, I would say Utah,
But
Penn
Utah
State are
doesn't have an
comparable in the
offense at
sense that
all.
I would say that's why I said Utah and Penn State are pretty comparable because neither has an offense and both have great defenses.
Yeah. I would still.
Ohio
I would
State beat
probably
Penn State by 8. Like, so
like. Here's what I would say is this: when looking at this game and stuff like that, I think that you're just looking at a Washington team that, I would definitely be concerned that they could get beaten up by Oregon in that Pac-12 championship game.
oh yeah, I mean I think that's gonna happen whether they're beating these teams by 40 points or not, just because we know how things go whenever two teams rematch each other. One of them is going to blow the other one out, and Oregon's the one that's most likely to do it because they have the more complete team than Washington does. But I still think as of right now, I would say both of these teams are probably, I would say as of today, both of these teams deserve to be in the top 4. I just think that they've shown that they're the 2 of the top 4 teams in the country. I don't think Michigan's shown that. They haven't played anybody, and now you have all these cheating scandals going around with them. I don't even think they should be eligible for it.
Well,
Ohio State
here's my
hasn't looked
hot
great. Georgia
here,
hasn't looked great. So, I mean,
here's my
Florida
hot
State.
take personally. I think that Penn State should not be in the top 20 teams, personally.
I don't either. I mean, they've played 2 good teams, and the offense has looked pathetic. We know the defense is the best in the country. We
Yeah.
know that, and they've proven that against these 2 great teams that they've played. But
Well,
I mean,
I don't know. But here's the only problem is Ohio State has had struggles at offense, whether that you can see that in the Notre Dame game or even at the beginning of the year or against Penn State. So like I don't
you need to, but you also need to understand that playing a good defense is not struggling on offense. You can't expect these teams to come out and put up 40 points on a top 10 defense. Like they're just not going to do that. Ohio
well,
State scoring 7,
I'm not
but
saying
hold
that
on, let me finish. Ohio State scoring 17 on a top 10 Notre Dame defense is not them struggling on offense. Them scoring 20 points on the best defense in the country in Penn State is not them struggling on offense. That's just a great offense facing a great defense. Same thing with Washington versus Utah. Like
well,
it's just a great offense facing a great defense.
but there's a difference between scoring 17 and 20, like scoring that few amount of points. That is not a lot of that is struggling, even if it is against a very good defense.
But it's not struggling when you look at what those defenses give up.
But here's the thing: 17 or 20 points in a game is not going to win you a lot of games, even against elite defenses. Like,
Well, it
here's
won
the
on
thing:
both of
like,
those,
look
so I
at
would say
last
it
year
would.
when Ohio State played Georgia, an elite defense, but Ohio State put up what 40 or 38 points or something, like in the upper 30s, or I forget what the final score was. But that's what I'm talking about.
I mean, yeah, obviously the offense isn't the same as it was last year. That doesn't mean that it's struggling this year because they score 20 against the number 1 defense in the country and they score 17 against a top 5, probably top
Here
5,
is the only
top
thing that
10
I'm
defense.
saying.
And you can't say, well, that's not going to be enough to win them games against elite defenses because they won both of those games.
I'm not saying they aren't. I'm just saying Penn State defensively has not really had a test like you were talking about. Not
But
like a test against a team like Oregon or Washington or USC or even Florida State, kind of, or even against a Texas, or maybe you could argue Kansas State. I don't know.
But they have, because they faced Ohio State, who has better weapons than any of those teams.
Yeah, but we've also seen struggles from the quarterback position.
They've still covered those playmakers on the outside to perfection.
I get what you're saying, but all I am saying is this: is that Penn State may. All I'm saying is that Penn State is a little bit of a fraud for how high of the rank they are. That's all I'm saying.
I agree with that. I just don't think it's fair to say that a team's offense struggled because they went against a top 10 defense.
They
and
did
only
struggle.
Scored, and
you
only
can't,
scored 20
Lincoln.
points.
You can't say that they don't struggle just because they don't have a good defense, or just because they have a good defense. You can't say that they're not struggling.
If you face the number 1 defense in the country and you score 20 points offensively, that is very good. That's
It
not
depends.
struggling.
Oh, Georgia with an almost interception. I know we are talking about this game still a little bit, but
Fourth
what I
and
would
3
say
here
is
for Ole
this:
Miss
is
from
that
the
when you're
Georgia
looking
40, and they're going for it. They're already 1 for
that
1 on fourth down conversions today, and
that's
they
about
went for it on their own 35.
that's about the least surprising thing when it comes to Lane Kiffin.
I know. Dart gonna throw off his back foot, and nobody anywhere near incomplete. Georgia gonna take over.
Yeah, you're
And
definitely
hold
looking.
on, there is a flag down. I think they hit Jackson Dart late.
Oh boy, Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah,
Nope,
like I
holding
know
on
I
Ole
commented
Miss.
this, but I'm telling you. I'm telling everybody that you two need a debate show on ESPN or something. Just talking college football for like an hour every day. Because it's better than I was telling my dad about how much I absolutely despise afternoon Sports Center when you could watch another hour of Pat McAfee. Like
Yeah,
put you guys in the 2 o'clock hour would be better than talking about a whole bunch of stuff that they've already talked about in the morning.
yeah, I agree.
We'd get
And
in trouble for not taking commercial breaks and going over our hour.
yeah, that'd be very true. So, but like when looking at the one thing that I will say, I guess I should have known better when picking Rutgers against Iowa, talking about an elite defense. But like at the end of the day, I think when it comes down to it, it just annoys me that that Rutgers offense struggled so much, and you couldn't get anything going. But whatever.
Yeah, Rutgers.
When you guys were
They
talking about,
good.
I was gonna say when you all were talking about Penn State, I have two stats that will tell you everything you need to know about the Penn State offense. Drew Aller, 10 for 22, and their leading receiver tonight had 25 yards.
Wow.
Oh yeah, they have zero. That was never in question. The
Yeah.
defense or the offense that they had. They have no offense at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
And
how much do you have to look at the problem as Drew Allard and not everybody else?
yeah.
well, I mean,
It's
I don't really know who you put the blame on right now because they're also not getting a run game going either in these big games.
Well, it's
So I
because you
mean,
have no pass game.
but you also have no pass game because you have no run game. And they always say the run game sets up the pass game, and
I
I know
know
that
it's
works. I know that works vice versa. But
yeah,
when
it's
you
circular.
come, but Penn State comes. They don't come out trying to throw the football. They come out
No,
trying to run
yeah,
the football
yeah,
to set up the pass game. So
correct.
and they can't run the ball. They could run the ball against they could
Ohio
run the
State.
ball against Ohio State. They could run it against Michigan. So I really could care less what they do against Massachusetts and all these other teams when they can't even take care of business against when they just absolutely suck out loud against the teams that matter.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
100% true. Like, I think when it comes down to it, I think when you're looking at Penn State and when you're looking at James Franklin, I'm not saying that he gets fired this year or anything. I'm not saying that, so I want to preface that when I'm talking. But like, at what point do you kind of get sick and tired of it as a Penn State fan that you're
Well,
playing third wheel to Ohio State and Michigan?
yeah. I mean, it's the exact. I feel like it's the exact same thing as Wisconsin. It's like, when are we just gonna be okay with just running the ball and having 8-10 wins every year? Like for Penn State, it's
Well, that's why you hired Luke Fickle.
yeah, and obviously the season isn't going well. But that'll get better with his recruits because he needs to have a Luke Fickle offense and not a redshirt freshman starting.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
But
he definitely doesn't look too pleased having to run this offense the way that he is. That's not at all how he wants to run an offense, but
yeah,
he doesn't really have any choices right now as to doing it any differently. That's
yeah,
I mean at this point that's kind of what all all he's left with for right now.
But
Yeah.
for Penn
Go ahead.
State, the question is the question I have is like you're not going to win a national championship with James Franklin. He's a great head coach. Don't get me wrong, but you can make the 12th team playoff, but you're not going to be able to win that natty. And it's like, when are you going to say we need someone new, and who is it going to be? Because it doesn't feel like you have that many options.
Yeah.
Tell you who it's not going to be is their defensive coordinator, Manny Diaz. As there's a big run there from Georgia on a zone read, and they're all the way up inside the 30 of Ole Miss now. And this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. You know, what happens with this Ole Miss team if they're unable to get stops? And
Yeah.
right now they're if that offense can't score on every drive, they may be in some trouble because this isn't early season Carson Beck. He's not making mistakes like he was. As there's a nice pass to Lad McConkey in the end zone for the touchdown for Georgia. What a pass there from Carson Beck to his wide receiver there.
Yeah. John Jansen in the chat. Big win for Missouri. Yeah, congrats. I was rooting for Tennessee. But good for Missouri. Great win. For sure, a great addition to their resume this season.
I think Missouri personally is one of I think Missouri is underrated. Like I think Missouri is a top 7 team personally.
They very well may be, yeah.
Because you lost on the road to Georgia barely. I think that the loss to LSU was a little bit unexcusable. Like you should not have lost that game.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
the only thing I was going to say is the problem with putting them top 7 is considering they got beat by 10 points to a 3-loss LSU team. Now, granted, LSU did get a pick six with I think under 2 minutes to go in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
and
not
that
saying
was
I would put them
to
top
make it,
7.
but
I'm just saying that maybe.
I think the hardest part for them is the offense isn't on the elite level that Washington that kind of offense like Washington has, and the defense just isn't there enough. I don't think they would be able to compete with those teams at that level, but I do think that they're an underrated team and deserve to be top 15.
Holy crap! Did you guys see the UCF Oklahoma State score? I didn't watch that game. I didn't even know what the score was.
Yeah, I saw
Oh
the
yeah,
end of
we
it.
saw
That
it.
was insane.
That was what? Gundy? What?
See,
What
this is
happened?
the Oklahoma State I was expecting at the beginning of the season.
Yes, this is the South Alabama Oklahoma State. That's just kind of crazy. This is a terrible, terrible UCF team. At least in comparison to what they have been.
Yeah, this is probably the worst UCF team we've seen in the last, I don't
7,
know,
8 years.
7, 8 years, other than maybe last year.
I would argue this team's worse than last year.
Yeah, I think that's pretty safe to say. Marvin Harrison on the end around for Ohio State opened up the score, and they're up 7-0 on Michigan State early on in the first quarter in that one.
Yeah, what do we think about these OSU jerseys tonight?
Oh, I love those grays.
Oh, I agree. I love them.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
My question to you is this: who is Michigan State's next head coach?
No idea.
Yeah.
No idea. I hope they hire Jamie Chadwell from Liberty.
Yeah.
That'd be a good hire.
And that will never happen, but here's why I want him to hire him. Because Shane Beamer will be gone from South Carolina within the next two years. He will be gone. And Jamie Chadwell, if he's still available, South Carolina's not going to get their hire wrong again. They're going to go to Chadwell. And as a Clemson fan, I don't really want South Carolina's head coach being Jamie Chadwell. So
That's a
somebody
good point.
please hire him before Beamer gets fired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's also going to take a lot of money to get Chadwell away from Liberty.
Oh, it will. It's a nice pass there from Dart, and Ole Miss in business now up to the 33-yard line of Georgia. Nice pass there from Jackson Dart, squeezing that one into a tight window.
Do you guys think Missouri makes a New Year's Six Bowl? I personally do.
Yeah.
I think it's possible.
So
I think it
okay.
may be. I think it may be hard considering this is going to be the year that the SEC doesn't get 2 teams into the playoff.
Yeah, but they could make like the Orange Bowl, the Fiesta, whatever the two bowls are. That yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could get an at-large bid, but I don't know if they will, considering that 2 SEC teams aren't going to be in the playoff, because they're not going to be ahead of Alabama for one.
Yeah.
Well, they
Like
could be
Alabama will get
after a
the first
second
one.
loss.
The throw to the end zone there from Ole Miss, and yeah, that is clear pass interference on Georgia, just all over Wade on
Oh,
that
that
one.
is out.
Yeah, he's just all over from the moment he gets past him. He's just all over him. Turns late to look for the football after he's already holding his entire right arm. Yeah, good call there from the refs.
Yeah.
As that'll
Yeah.
set. That wasn't in the foul didn't occur in the end zone, so they won't get the ball at the 2, but they will get the ball at about the 15.
So I'll ask this. I know we keep switching back from the Georgia and Ole Miss game to different topics, but at least we're keeping it within college football this tonight.
Yeah.
But who are your playoff teams?
Ooh.
If I had to pick right now, I would say,
and this is like
I
a
would have,
prediction, not like stuff. You know what I mean?
if I had to go with who I would put in the top 4 right now, number 1 would be Oregon. Number 2 would be, that's a tough one.
Well, this is like a prediction. Who are the 4 teams that you think make the playoffs after everything?
So who do I think? Okay.
Correct. Yes.
Well, I still think Oregon will be 1. Not necessarily the number 1 team, but they will be one of the 4. They'll be one of the 4. I think Ohio State would be one of the 4 because I think they beat Michigan this year, and I think that they end up. Obviously, they're not going to have any problem with whoever comes out of the West.
Yeah.
I think Florida State makes it, just because I don't see anybody that's.
Louisville's going to be
that's
sneaky.
going to knock them off.
Louisville's going to be sneaky.
Louisville is going to be very sneaky, and if they could have just beaten Pitt, think about just how sneaky they would be.
Well, no, it makes them more sneaky. It makes them more sneaky now that they have a loss and they're not playing for everything.
Well, the problem I see with them is, are they going to be able to make it with that one loss to Pitt? Because you look, if Washington loses the
I'm not talking. No. I'm sorry. I'm not talking about a playoff appearance. I'm talking about beating Florida State. Sorry.
Okay. Yes, I do think that loss makes them more sneaky. I thought you were talking about in terms of making the playoff, and I was like, well, that kind of hurts them because.
No.
I don't think that Louisville can make the playoff even if they win out, because that loss to Pitt's going to be rough, because you look at a team, if Washington loses,
they don't have enough quality wins. Yeah.
Exactly. And the Notre Dame win obviously looks less impressive after they lost to Clemson. And I mean, they don't really like Duke. The Duke win isn't really anything with the Duke team that they beat. Florida State would really be the only win that team had that was like a top caliber win.
To be fair, it's a pretty good win.
Oh, it is a very good win, but you're going to need more than that when you're going up against, when it comes down to you and a team like Washington, who's beat Oregon, who's beat USC, who's beat Utah. You're going to need a lot more than just Florida State.
Correct, yeah.
As Jackson Dart, nice carry there for a first down, sets up Ole Miss inside the 5, 1st and goal. But I think Oregon, Florida State, Ohio State are in. And my last team I'm kind of torn on, because I either think Washington gets in as a 1-loss Pac-12 runner-up, that being their only loss, or I think Texas gets in if they win the Big 12. But here's the catch with Texas. I think they're going to need Quinn Ewers back to win the Big 12. I think Malik Murphy can lead them to I think he can lead them to an undefeated rest of the regular season, but I don't know if he's going to be able to win the Big 12 championship for them. So I think they will need Ewers back for that one. But those are my 4, I guess technically 5. I'm
Okay,
torn
so
on the fourth spot.
say it one more time just to make sure I have them.
So in no order. I got Oregon, I have Florida State, I have Ohio State, and then either Washington or Texas with Quinn Ewers.
So no SEC team.
No SEC team, because I think that I mean, in SEC teams, there's a solid chance one gets in, but I think Alabama probably will find a way to beat Georgia in Atlanta, and I don't think either one of those teams is worthy to get into the playoff.
Yeah. So personally, or Anthony, I'll let you go since I asked the question. I'll go last.
Well, I
I'm
guess
just
real quick, if this is a prediction, then I guess you got to throw in at that 4 spot Georgia or Alabama, but I don't think either one should be in.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go really basic right now. I'm just gonna go with Georgia, OSU, Washington, and Florida State. Not in any particular order, but just those four.
Okay. I got Georgia, Alabama, Florida State, and Oregon.
Oh
So
yeah,
you think 2 SEC teams get
Correct.
in?
Yeah, I think Bama beats Georgia close, and with a close win, I think both of them get in. I think um, Ohio State gets in because I think they win it all, or they win, and I think that Oregon gets in. And I think that when you're looking at the teams, obviously Bama will, in my opinion, obviously Bama will get in because they won the SEC. And then I think Georgia will get in over Washington just because I think the committee will be biased towards SEC teams. So yeah,
yeah,
I could see that.
I can see it.
I just don't know. I don't know if they can this year. I know they're going to want to, but I just don't know if they can this year
well,
because
if Georgia barely loses to Alabama, I just don't see the committee not putting them in as long as Florida State wins out and the Big Ten. The bigger question is this. Let's say this. Let's say Michigan or Ohio State, doesn't matter. Michigan or Ohio State barely loses. Or let's say this. Let's say Ohio State barely loses on the road, and then you have a Georgia team that loses to Alabama. Like, where, like, are you going to put in Georgia? Or are you going to put in Michigan? Like, or I'm sorry, Georgia or Ohio State? Like, that's a legitimate question. Like, which team are you going to put in if Alabama beats Georgia? Which I just
and
think is
here's
likely because it's Nick Saban.
and here's where the problem comes in is because the way that they are so SEC biased whenever they go to look at the resume, the SEC team is going to appear to have the better resume, even though a lot of those teams
Unless if they keep Penn State as high as they keep keeping them.
Yeah, but I mean, still, I mean, you look at it. Obviously, Missouri deserves to be top 15. Ole Miss is not the number 9 team in the country. They're just not.
No.
Um,
To be fair, there aren't a lot of
Alabama
teams that
shouldn't
should
even.
be.
Alabama really shouldn't even be ranked where they're ranked at.
Number
I feel
6,
like
yeah.
yeah, I feel like they're. I feel like Alabama's the number 9 or 10 team in the country.
The only problem is who's better than them?
Whenever it comes down to it, is Ohio State is the better of the 3 teams, but they're not gonna win that resume battle between them just because of how overvalued. Like, why is Tennessee still ranked as high as they were ranked coming into this
Yeah,
week? Why is
Yeah,
Kentucky still ranked where they're ranked? Like, these teams should not be ranked. They're not good teams, but
correct.
because they're in the SEC, they're ranked, and so the
yeah.
SEC bias will carry one of them into it. As
Yeah.
Dart on the QB keeper on second goal gets to about the 3.
So I will add this. Florida LSU are tied up 7 apiece. Both offensive drives looked really good. That's part of the reason why I haven't said that much about Ole Miss or Georgia's. I've turned on the Florida LSU game.
Yeah, next
Yeah, that one's a big one
break.
for you.
Next
Oh
break,
yeah, definitely.
I'll run through some scores and you guys can give me your thoughts on those games if that's cool.
Oh,
Okay,
I will.
yes, sounds good.
Yeah, I'll bring up another topic because why not? Okay, never mind. I'm going to bring up that topic after this.
Ole
I know
Miss
we're
pitched to Judkins and he's in touchdown, but yet again another flag for Ole Miss. Are they going to get called for holding again? We'll have to
um,
see here what happens.
so I will
Hold
go
on.
ahead.
illegal substitution on Georgia, touchdown, Ole Miss,
Oh
and the
wow.
extra
Okay.
point here. They're going to be looking to, they're going to be looking to tie this up. Is Kirby Smart just chewing his man out? I mean, I don't know why he's chewing him out. He needs to be chewing the whole defense out. They had 12 men on the field and still couldn't stop Ole Miss.
Correct.
Like
Yeah.
it didn't change the outcome.
Hey,
I don't know
Notre
why
Dame was
he's so
closer
mad.
to stopping Ohio State than when South Carolina put like 15 men on the field.
Yeah, yeah. As the extra point for Ole Miss is up and it is good, and we are tied at 14 here in Athens. As this has been a good game, but the problem for Ole Miss right now is they're kind of playing behind with Georgia obviously they have the opportunity to go down and score and keep Ole Miss from playing catch
Yeah.
up. So that Ole Miss defense going to need to stop. But it's break time now, so we're going to take a break and we're going to let Anthony run through some scores and we'll give our thoughts on them whenever we return.
Okay, so starting here with the scores, I guess I'll start with all of our active ones. Starting in Norman, Oklahoma, OU up 17-7 on the Mountaineers. That one is about 13 minutes or so left before the half. Dylan Gabriel with 123 yards, the leading passer for the game. In Oregon, the Beavers, number 12 ranked Oregon State, up 55-10 on Stanford. That has under 2 minutes left in the third quarter. DJ has 240 yards and 2 touchdowns on the day. Then heading down to the Space City, Houston tied 7-7 with the Bearcats of Cincinnati. That one's in the second quarter. And it looks like I can't tell. Cincinnati is driving. They're pretty close to getting a touchdown there. In Huntington, it is the blackout game at Marshall as they honor the 1970 team who was lost in a plane crash. The 75 on board all died after a game against ECU. The black jerseys to honor them for the Thundering Herd, and it is tied 10-10. Cole Pennington with 69 yards and a touchdown. That has 11:15 left in the second. In Colorado, the Rams taking on San Diego State, and CSU just scored a field goal, making it 8-0 over the Aztecs there in the second quarter. And then we have at Ohio Stadium, the Buckeyes up 14-0 on Michigan State. Kyle McCord, Philly's own, actually South Jersey's own, but same thing. 73 yards, 1 touchdown for him. They are still in the first quarter. And the last score we will hit before heading back is Texas TCU tied 0-0 with 10:23 left in the first. That one is in Fort Worth. And John lets us know TCU field goal 3-0. Yeah, my ESPN's a little bit behind right now. First and 10 for Georgia, 14-16 left in the second quarters. We are back. a man in motion for the Dogs. And it is going to be a running play. That's going to get them about 6-7 yards or so to start off this drive. Or continue the drive, actually. But, yeah.
What's up? How we doing, Cody? As I join back here.
Yup.
Anything happen in the Georgia game? Like I said, I am watching.
It's 2nd and 3, 13:45 at Georgia's own 32. And it's going to be another run play. And Ole Miss with a great tackle. That saved what would have been probably a touchdown there for the Dogs. But, Reichley, running through some of these scores, the ones I looked at, first I got to let ESPN load because, it's taking forever. Like it always.
What's your thoughts on I'll ask your thoughts on this. I did see one score. Auburn, 48-10 over Arkansas. Well, that's about the individual game. What are your more thoughts about Hugh Freeze in year one?
Hugh Freeze. What's Auburn's record? I haven't paid that much attention to them.
I think this was their 5th win.
Okay, so bowl eligible?
Yeah. Let me check. This is win number 5. Next week they play an actually pretty decent New Mexico State team that actually has 8 wins.
Okay.
They should win that game, but yeah.
Well, I'll say this: I'm going to be intrigued by the Bama Auburn game. Obviously, anything can happen there. That should be interesting,
especially with it being at Auburn.
Yeah, first down Dogs, 2nd and 4, and they get a nice run there. 4th and 2 for the Mountaineers. They go for it, and it is almost picked, but deflected there. So OU takes over at midfield. That just stinks for WVU. 1st and 10. Georgia in the huddle right now, 11:55, and the clock is running here for the Dogs, 14-14. If you're just joining us, the number 2 Georgia Bulldogs, 9-0, are taking on number 9 Ole Miss, 8-1, and that's going to be a pass to, I think that's Brock Bowers it's Brock Bowers for about 8 yards or so.
Wow. Update on the LSU game. Florida has them stopped Florida stopped them on 3rd and goal. It's now 4th and goal at a little bit inside the 1-yard line. LSU has struggled on 4th down, only 5 of 11 this season. And they're going to stop LSU at the goal line. It is going to be a goal line stand here for the Gators, as it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Gators offense. That dominated.
Deep. He has McConkey. McConkey at the 5, down at the 1.
Wow. That is a big throw from Georgia.
But that was from midfield. And Lad McConkey burned his defender, burned him again, and then juked out 2 more guys to get down to the 1 when he was tackled.
But I will let you run through the scores. What scores you talk about?
Okay, so the ones I talked about, ESPN's still loading, but I have enough to go by as soon as it finishes. And that's going to be a run stopped. Okay. Oklahoma up 17-7 on the Mountaineers. It hasn't been pretty for as I said.
Not completely surprised. Like I would be really interested in this game if it was in Morgantown, because I think a game in Morgantown would be really fun and really interesting. But I don't know.
Dogs.
Florida's got a man open. It's going to get all the way to the 25-yard line as LSU's defense just forgets to cover the tight end going across the screen.
Wow. But that's going to be Edwards there with the rushing touchdown from the 1 for Georgia. So they will go up 21-14, pending the PAT here. But another game, end of the 3rd, out on the West Coast as we head to the Pac-12. Number 12, Oregon State, beating Stanford 55-17. DJ, 240 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Oregon State is a good team that I am intrigued to see on their future come next season. That's kind of my take. Go ahead.
Also, their running back, Martinez, has 15 carries for 146 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Wow. Yeah, Oregon State, I don't think DJ will stay after this season, but I do think he has another year of eligibility. Maybe he will.
Team.
Yeah.
I'm back. I'm back now.
Okay. We were talking about
DJ actually has 2 more years of eligibility.
Okay.
Because 2020 didn't count, so he's got 2021, 2022, 2023. So then
he would only have 1 more, right?
Yeah, 1 more year. That's right. 1 more year. Yeah, because 2020 didn't count. This is his 3rd. Yeah, so 1 more year.
So and it wouldn't have counted either way. It would have been a redshirt year or a
it would have been a red. Well, no, because he appeared in more than 4 games.
Did he?
He had to have, because he started in 2 of them, and that team blew a lot of people out. I know he had to have played in some more.
Well, to be fair, he also probably would have been redshirted if it weren't for like them saying, "Oh, since COVID happened, we're not gonna count it for anybody."
Yeah. Next game, heading to the Space City, Cincinnati up 14-7.
Oh, come on. My bad.
Cincinnati 2-7, 0-6 in the Big 12, up a touchdown on Houston, who is 4-5, 2-4 in the Big 12. What do you guys think about that?
It kind of sucks for Cincinnati with joining now. Obviously, this is by far and away their worst team in 6 years. And it's not even close. So it's kind of like disappointing for Cincinnati that like such a bad team is joining the Big 12, because this is a team that I think a lot of their teams in the past 4 years could have competed in the Big 12. So,
yeah. Next games, we're back on break here for Georgia Ole Miss. In Huntington, it is the blackout game, as I mentioned earlier, between Marshall and Georgia Southern, honoring the 1970 Marshall team who had 37 players killed in a plane crash, 75 total on board. Cole Pettington, 96 yards and 1 pick so far. I always expect a Marshall win on for the blackout game, but any thoughts on the Sun Belt this season?
Screw the NCAA when it comes to James Madison. Like, seriously, guys.
Yeah, that is the dumbest rule. Why is there a rule that you cannot make a bowl game or qualify for a bowl game or any postseason play in your first 3? Like,
basically, the only logical
aren't going to be able to. So what does it matter if, like, why can they not?
Yeah. The only reason I've heard, but it's still, again, it doesn't make sense, but the only thing I've heard is that they don't want teams joining too early. But again, that doesn't really make sense.
But how does that prevent them from teams joining too early?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
No,
Sam Houston still can't make a bowl game, but it's pretty clear they joined too early.
Well, not really. It's more that Sam Houston, this is a bad Sam Houston team.
I mean, they've won 1 game all season.
Yeah.
Like
but Jacksonville State, they struggle. This is their best team in a while.
Yeah, that is true.
So, like, Jackson, it's just kind of, it's not lucky, but it's just kind of good timing on when you join and stuff like that. Like, my university, like AU, they just built a really expensive football facility that I think is eventually going to take them into the SoCon, which, if you guys aren't aware, that's like Furman's conference and Chattanooga and stuff like that. I think eventually AU will try to join that conference. But like the amount of stuff that you have to have ready and stuff like that, it's not like jumping from Division II to FCS or from FCS to FBS. It's not an easy jump. It's not. So
yeah, it's really not. It's
Yeah.
because the talent increase is just so much bigger. As on 2nd and 20, Jackson Dart hit and going nowhere, and I need to update this score right here
Yeah.
as it's now 21-14 Georgia after the big
LSU,
pass to
Florida.
McConkey set up
Yeah, LSU,
touchdown for the
Florida,
Bulldogs.
an interesting game. 7 apiece, 4th and 6 here for the Tigers. Second 4th down attempt of the game. Inside their 40 at the 39. Jaden Daniels in shotgun here with a running back. A very interesting matchup as both teams have had had a stop drive, and as well as as Florida is going to get another 4th down stop here. As the offense just seems to be sputtering once they get inside Florida territory.
Yeah, Georgia with a big stop here on 3rd down. Only a yard there for Ole Miss, and they're going to have to punt the ball away as they just
Maybe.
took the kicker out.
Maybe they'll
Georgia
punt
just
it.
took the punter out.
Ole Miss or Georgia did?
Ole Miss is punting.
Okay.
And then they just waved it off. I have no reason why. I mean, it was just running into the kicker. It had just been 5 yards. But it still made no sense why they waved it off.
Well, was it a good punt?
No, I mean, it definitely could have done better. It wasn't declined. They picked the flag up.
Oh.
It wasn't anything that was declined. They picked the flag up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Whoa. This LSU game and Florida's game, you guys got to turn on. It's getting chippy. There have been punches thrown, shoving and pushing.
What network is it on?
It's on
SEC
SEC
Network,
Network.
I think. Yeah.
There's been a lot of chippiness, and the refs have not thrown a flag, but it looks like a punch was thrown. I think it was by a Florida guy, but they may call personal fouls on both teams. I don't know whether they will. It looks like they're just going to call a personal foul on Florida.
Okay, where is that game?
That game would be in
At
Baton
LSU,
Rouge.
right? Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay, I was just making sure. Because I saw a picture that like Shaq was there and some other famous LSU alumni.
Oh yeah, almost all of them are. Yeah, that's bad refereeing. The LSU guy came and shoved the Florida guy, and then the Florida guy shoved him back off of him, and then they threw the flag on the Florida guy.
I want the whole world to know, had he picked LSU in Roundup, that would have been a great call there by the officials.
No, that wouldn't have, and you know that. No, that wouldn't have.
Would have been a great call by the officials.
Speaking of which, I do need to tell you about this, Lincoln, last night. We can talk a little high school football. Pendleton played BHP. Obviously, they played better than I thought they did. It was closer than I thought, but it annoyed me because it was 28-34, and the dude put both his hands up in the air. I'm going to turn on my camera here for a second. And tell me if you can see this. 1 second. I'm turning on my camera so that way you guys can see me. Will it let me turn on my camera?
I have no idea what happened to him.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm when he started talking about high school football, I had to pull something up quick. I have an illegal YouTube stream of the Florida LSU game up on my second TV.
Oh, nice, gotcha. Do you not get SEC Network?
No, I have every ESPN network except for ESPNU, ACC, and SEC.
I got you. Okay.
So let me look. So since you guys are talking about the about high school football, I got to give a shout out to my dad's high school alma mater, Marquette University High School. They are going to be in the state championship playing at Camp Randall on Friday.
Nice.
And my dad was pretty excited. He's pretty excited to watch the game Friday night. However he's going to do it. He's like, that's obviously Marquette U's high school. But yeah.
And that's pretty cool that those kids get to go play there in Wisconsin at Camp Randall.
I think it's pretty cool that they played the Wisconsin game at Camp Randall today, considering it's Veterans Day. And I don't know if you know, but it's called Camp Randall because it was a Civil War camp.
Really?
Yeah. So there's a little stadium fun fact is that the stadium was built on top of where Civil War camp was, and that's where the name comes from.
Oh, nice.
Obviously, one of the most historic stadiums in college football, and that's why they are continuously renovating it every year, to make sure that it is staying up to date with all the amenities.
Who knows if we're ever gonna get him back?
Yeah. This is. I don't know. I don't think anyone else in my house is trying to watch this game, but yes, John, Marquette is in Wisconsin. Go Golden Eagles! We beat Ryder last night in basketball. I was pretty excited about that. We're playing Illinois this week, I think, and then we go to Maui to play UCLA, and if we win that, we play Kansas. Which would obviously
nice.
be a huge game.
As a nice pass out to McConkey, as Georgia is now in the red zone down to the 14 of Ole Miss.
Yeah.
As they just can't get a stop. This Ole Miss defense just can't get a stop.
I'm currently trying to get this ESPN scoreboard to load up so I can run through some more scores. But I will say OSU up 21-0 on Michigan State now.
Yeah, I wonder if that offense is struggling. Doesn't seem like it.
No.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like their offense is struggling.
Yeah, first down for Georgia there.
Yeah, Ole Miss just missing tackles. 4 or 5 of them.
So yeah, there were some punches thrown between LSU and Florida. I just saw that replay, and I don't have the closed captions on, but Billy Napier's getting interviewed about it right now.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yep.
Oh, he's back.
I'm going to have to fix my computer because it doesn't like me. I don't know what's wrong with it, but the last couple of weeks it's been very finicky. But basically the point that I was making about high school football was that the dude – so Pendleton did a kick after they got a touchdown, and they kicked it like up in the air, where if you call a fair catch, you're not allowed to touch the guy. The dude put his hands in the air to catch it. He wasn't waving his hands in, and then they called it a fair catch. And nobody could come up with a reason of why that was a fair catch call. Just like the phantom fair catch for Iowa and Minnesota.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all based on the safety for the players, though. And
but if you put your hands up to catch the ball, like he literally put his hands up like you're putting your hands up to catch a ball and didn't wave them, or you got to wave your hands around in order to say you're calling for a fair catch.
But if there's any doubt that it could potentially be a fair catch call, then they're going to call it.
Honestly, it's just a bad call. Like when it's on a kickoff and it's like going 15 yards where the Pendleton guy is also going for it because the dude didn't call for a fair catch. Yeah.
What are we thinking, guys, on this goal line call? Are we saying touchdown or short?
I think the play will stand. I mean, you see his elbow down right there on the goal line.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Obviously, not the one with the ball in it, but there's not a line. There's not a shot to see straight down the line where you can fully see where it's at, because the only shot straight down the line's on the opposite side of his body from the ball, so you still can't really see. So I think it stands as a
Yeah.
touchdown.
And yeah, that's gonna stand. So now Georgia goes up 2 touchdowns on Ole Miss with about 2 minutes until the half. I mean, what do we think here, guys? Is this? I don't want to say it's over, obviously, but is it starting to get out of reach for Ole Miss here?
Yeah.
Ole Miss needs a touchdown on this drive because Georgia
They're
does
just not.
get the ball.
Yeah, they're just not
Yeah.
going to be able to keep up because their defense is just not good enough. It just isn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've seen that this year, time and time again. I mean, I remember, I forget which team it was that last weekend in September, that kept it really close with Ole Miss. I think it might have been A&M, but it was like 42-38 or something like that. Way too close of a game.
Oh, what did you guys think about the Arizona Colorado game? Obviously, that one was pretty close.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was a little bit surprised by that one. I thought Arizona was actually gonna come out and just
Blow 'em
stomp them,
out.
but yeah,
Yeah.
they didn't. They didn't seem to do that one. But
yeah,
I mean, they still came away with the win, so that's all that matters for the Wildcats. But obviously, I expected much more than what they gave.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, speaking of another terrible referee, I went to a basketball game today for AU. Do you want to guess how many fouls were called in the first half? Like combined?
How many?
Just give me a guess so that way I want to see where you guys think.
I don't even know.
Here, I'll do this. Over under at 17 and a half fouls in the half.
I'll
say
take
over.
I'll take the over.
Lincoln?
I said over.
Okay. It was 31. 31 fouls were called in the first half. The refs were terrible, and not in the sense of like they were favoring one team. They just continued to blow their whistle the entire first half. It was terrible.
That sounds so ignoring.
It was like every time I was every other it felt like every other second there was being a foul called. It was just like they wanted to be the center of attention the entire time. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
While we're on the
that
topic
seems
of
miserable.
while we're talking about sports that are like played in an arena or court, so I've gone to a couple of my school's volleyball games this year. Both of our volleyball teams, JV and varsity, are pretty good, and listen, and just some of the calls that those refs make. The group, the quote unquote middle school student section of about 3 people sitting on a auditorium stage, clapping the entire game. It's just like we're just like, wow, refs are, and it's also kind of funny how in some of these meaningless games I hear for about a week the girls on the team complaining about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It should be interesting. We have our volleyball team has been very successful this season, finishing second in the conference. So it should be an interesting kind of finish to it, as we may even get a couple of NCAA tournament games to host.
That'd be fun.
So it should definitely be a lot of fun. I got to see if maybe if we can get you, Lincoln, to join the student section, because it gets pretty rowdy. It gets pretty rowdy in it. So.
Oh yeah, definitely have to check that out sometime. That
Oh
sounds
yeah.
like a lot of fun.
Yeah, you got to come to maybe one of the basketball games. Today's score was 118 to 112 overtime.
Ooh.
118 to 112. Wow.
Yep. It was a shootout to say the least. Obviously, I think with all the foul calls, they got less whistle happy in the second half. There were only about 14 or 15 foul calls in the second half, so they got better. They got better at it, kind of. They
Yeah.
just called less nitpicky stuff, I guess. But saying they got better is kind of pushing it. They just stopped calling less nitpicky stuff.
Yeah.
They
And
chilled out a little bit.
Yeah, and the thing that made it worse is like let's think about it this way. The student section's on one side, and then there's a ref on the other side. And then the player was the Flagler player, which was the team we were playing, was facing towards us. And the Anderson guy went around him and hit the ball out. And the guy on the other side of the court called a foul, even though there was a guy on our side of the court that saw that he hit the ball. And the other side of the court thought he had a foul, even though it's not your call to make.
What?
And I use that as a specific example, but that happened over and over again. And it was all three of the refs. It wasn't just like one in particular. It was just all three of them were calling fouls that they should not, like it wasn't their area. And it's not that you can't call a foul if it's not in your area, but if you have a bad angle, you don't call a foul because somebody else has a better angle.
Before we hit the half, can I run through some more scores to get your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, 14:50 left in the second quarter. Texas up 10-6 on TCU. Quinn Ewers 140 yards and 1 touchdown. Thoughts?
Texas, I don't think that they finish out the year with no more losses. I think that they get a second loss, is what I should say.
I could see that, yeah.
Okay, next game.
Really, to me, it's really going to depend on if they can get Ewers back, because that's the key for him. Like I said with Murphy, I think he's solid. But I just don't think that he can lead them to I just don't think he can lead them to a championship win. Speaking of the Big 12 championship.
Well, here's the one thing I would say is this. When you're looking at this team, this is a team that they play Texas Tech on Black Friday. That's a scary game. Game.
For sure.
So, and then
that's a very scary game for them.
Yeah, and then you also have an Oklahoma State team that I don't know whether they're going to make the conference championship game. They technically are in it right now. Kansas State. So to go over Kansas State a little bit, you have Kansas next week, and then you have Iowa State the week after. You barely just lost to Texas, barely. And then so Kansas State, my pick is I think Kansas State gets in it eventually. Because Kansas State does have – do they play Oklahoma? No, they did not. So Oklahoma, who do they play for their last – they play BYU and TCU. Interesting.
Yeah.
What's the breakers in the Big 12?
Let's how about we go to the next SEC game? Or actually, go ahead with what you're going to say about.
Let's see here. I'm pulling it up for their tiebreaker rules. So it would be winning percentage against the next highest common opponent. So they both lost to Texas. Then it would be Oklahoma State. Both lost to Oklahoma State. Then it would be West Virginia. They both beat West Virginia. That's the only problem is that they both beat and lost to the same teams.
Yeah.
winning percentage against all common conference opponents. It would be the same because they would have had to played and lost the same teams. Then it would be combined win percentage in conference games of conference opponents.
Oh,
That's
wow. Georgia gets the pick.
well, do we want to put a bow on this game and say it's over?
Sadly,
Yeah,
I
I
think we
think
might
this
have
one.
to.
I think after that pick, this one might be about done.
Yeah.
And this is why we picked Georgia, isn't it, Lincoln?
Oh, 100%.
I was really rooting for Ole Miss in this game too. I really just wanted to see an upset, and they're out getting outmatched. Great
Yeah.
defensive play there. Not a bad throw at all by Dart, just a great defensive play.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it was a bit underthrown because Wade was open down the sideline, but just not able to get it to him, and that's going to be throws that when you look back on this game, you're going to wish you could have those back as an Ole Miss fan, an Ole Miss coach, Ole Miss player. You're going to wish you could have that one back because you needed a touchdown there. You needed to go into the half only down 7.
Yeah, now it's going to take a miracle for Ole Miss to win this game. We've seen miracles before. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it is for sure not likely at this point. As we're
We
talking
are
about,
Not
talking
at
about
all
a
because
Lane
not at all
Kiffin-led
because
defense.
because Georgia's at home.
yep,
They're playing with no pressure at all right now. Up 2 touchdowns. They just have the ball. This is going to turn into the Kentucky game
Correct.
against Georgia because Georgia has no pressure at home. Ole Miss and Kiffin and them are just going to be pushing the ball and pushing it, trying as flags come flying in everywhere on this play. But they're just going to be trying to push for everything and just setting Georgia up nicely, drive after drive after drive.
Yeah, especially with Lane Kiffin's pushy mentality in the first place. That's not.
On the first drive of the game, he went for it on his own 35-yard line on 4th down.
That's Lane
Granted,
Kiffin.
he only needed the black line and the yellow line on the screen were touching, so he barely needed anything, but still. And it's not like they just lined up and pushed and just pushed him past it either. No, they did some kind of trickery. Dart starts walking over towards the sideline, and they do a direct snap to Judkins. So it wasn't the safest play either.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And to do it on the first drive of the game is, to me, that just shows that he knows he either trusted his defense tremendously or knew he had to score every drive.
Yeah,
I think one of the two. And I'm thinking the second one, that he knew he had to score basically every drive to have a chance in this one.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Before we hit halftime, do you want to? I know we did this at the start of the year. Do you want to do a little college football trivia?
Sure.
Let's do a little trivia question.
Okay, I'm just gonna try to find one here that's kind of tough. All these are really easy. Let's go with. Oh, this is just. Yeah, I don't want that. I want. Actually, first I'll run through a few more scores and then we can figure that out. That's going to be inside field goal range for Georgia is there at 30 now. 12 seconds. But I guess I'll say, what game today shocked you the most? That's what I'll ask you guys while I try to find some questions.
Plain and simple, in my opinion, it's Oklahoma State getting just the crap beaten out of them.
I agree. I really don't know if there's another one.
Yeah.
It was just so bad. It was so bad.
It was terrible. I mean, they just got absolutely murdered in that game, and it wasn't even close. I believe at one point it was, I believe UCF was up 30 something or 24. Yeah, they were up 24-0, but they scored 24 points before Oklahoma State even scored.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
just, I have no idea what's been going on. What's been
Mhm.
going on with them, but it hasn't been pretty for Oklahoma State in some of these games. Like it's, they'll beat Kansas, they'll beat Oklahoma, and then they just will not show up for South Alabama or UCF or Iowa State. Like I don't know.
Yeah, okay, so here is I got after actually I'll wait until the end of this play to give you. I have kind of a 2-in-1 trivia question. But I'll wait for this
As
play.
Beck is intercepted
Oh,
Wow.
with 7 seconds to go in the half, so
The Ole Miss
Ole
defense
Miss won't get any points. They won't get any points. But as it went off the hands of, it was a great pass, went off the hands of the receiver. So
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't even say it was great. It was great. It was good defense. Like this was Georgia football at the 10-yard line, but love it, unable to bring it in. But
Yeah.
so
Okay,
Ole
trivia.
Miss staying alive a little bit. But go ahead with your trivia question.
Okay, the first Orange Bowl was played in what year and between which two teams?
ooh.
The first
Um,
Orange Bowl.
you want to go first, Lincoln, or you want me?
I believe Miami was in it, right?
I'll let both of you guys answer, and then I'll answer the question.
Okay.
I'm going 1969. That just sounds about right with where Notre Dame's are not. No, I'm going 1955. I'm going 1955, and I am going to go Alabama, Miami. I am going to agree. Or not Alabama. I'm going to go with LSU, Miami. We're going to go that way.
Okay, Lincoln year and who and
So
your other team.
I remember this from I don't know if y'all remember whenever they did the college football 150 and ESPN did all those documentaries on it. I remember this from the bowl series episode. I know it was Miami and I know they played a random team, but I can't think of the random team they played. And I know so I'm going to say the year is 1939 and I'm going to say Miami played against I'm gonna say they played against Yale, and I
Okay,
know
so
they
we have,
lost. I know they got shut out, but I
so we
don't
have
remember who they played against.
so I don't know the exact score, but so we have 39 Miami Yale and 55 Miami Bama. Those are the guesses, or LSU, not Bama.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
The
LSU.
answer is 1935, and the
Gosh,
University of
1935.
Miami took on the Bronx's Manhattan College in the Orange
What the
Bowl.
heck?
Yeah, I know it was something random like that.
And actually, Manhattan College took a 3-day boat ride to get to the Orange Bowl.
What the
Wait,
heck?
are you sure that's right? Because I just looked up 1935 Orange Bowl, and it says they played Bucknell.
Really? Okay, I have Manhattan College, but that
I just
could.
looked it up, and it said they played Bucknell in the first edition of the Orange Bowl on January 1st, 1935.
Let's look up first. This website could have it wrong.
But yes, it did say Bucknell won 26-0 in that one. I remember Miami was shut out in that one.
Okay, well, either way, it's a Northeastern team who played Miami. It was game results. Yeah, it was Bucknell. Who Bucknell is? Let's see. I think they're from PA. I know that much. I could not tell you what part of PA. Any guess on the
I couldn't tell
attendance
you
for that
anything
game?
about them.
Any attendance guess?
Well, I saw it, so I'm not going to guess.
5,000?
5,134. So a
Yeah,
pretty
I'd
5,000?
already seen it. I'd already seen it whenever I looked it up. Remember, this was 1935.
Yeah.
True. But still, there were big games that, like, big attendance wise.
It's
Yeah.
also Miami versus Bucknell in Miami, so I
I
doubt the
know, I
crowds.
know.
And apparently Miami wasn't very good because they lost 26-0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I doubt the crowd was really popping out for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I'm trying to load up some more scores here. And run through some. I have this LSU Florida game on the second screen right now. 8:34 left in the second quarter. LSU at their own 15 here. Daniels is just going to hand it off to the. Oh, no, he's going to run himself, and he's going to get a whole bunch of yardage. Daniels is going to go all the way to
That's
the
what I
house.
like to hear. That's what I like to hear.
Go Tigers.
Go
Is
Tigers.
Staying in Baton Rouge.
Well, I'm going to take a quick break for halftime, but I will be back for the start of the third quarter with you guys.
Yeah, I'm going to head out as well.
Yeah, I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be back in a minute. You ate some? What, did you think I was going to be mad or something? Okay. You want to know something? Who's that coming down the track? It's me, machine in red and white. Ain't nothing finer in the land than a drunk, obnoxious Georgia fan. Go dogs, go dogs, go dogs, go dogs, go dogs! Thank you. I just had to do that. Just because why not? Okay, I love you. And we are back with our second half coverage of Ole Miss, Georgia, as it is 28-14. Second half has not started yet, but I heard something interesting from Pat McAfee, and I'm just gonna go ahead and quote him because there's only one side to this game, and you're about to hear it. Who's that coming down the tracks? It's a big machine in red and black. Ain't nothing finer in the land than a drunk, obnoxious Georgia fan. Go dogs, go dogs, go dogs, go dogs, go dogs. It's all Georgia tonight. That's all it is. It's just the dogs. And that was my terrible Georgia accent, by the way. So let's talk about some college football. How about that? Starting with this Ole Miss-Georgia game, as I said, 28-14. Georgia leads Ole Miss. Carson Beck, 214 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 pick. Ladd McConkey has 4 receptions for 81 yards and a touchdown. He is the leading receiver for the Dogs. But let's also, I guess, just take a look around the rest of college football, starting with today's finals. Number 3, Michigan beats number 10, Penn State, 24-15 without Jim Harbaugh. What a game for Michigan. Give me a very quick second here. I think I'm getting a call from someone. Whoever, I know you're watching. Whoever's calling me, I know you're watching. Hi. I'm not going to answer your call right now. Give me a second, though. Okay. But yeah, so sorry about that. Outside of that, then we have number 4, Florida State holds on against unranked Miami, the 6-4 now Miami Hurricanes. 27-20 was the score. Jordan Travis, 265 yards and a touchdown. In Seattle, Washington held on against number 18 Utah. The number 5 Huskies winning 35-28. Penix Jr., 332 yards and 2 touchdowns. In Lexington, at Kroger Field, Bama, number 8, came in there and absolutely killed the Wildcats, 49-21. Jalen Milroe, 234 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 pick. In Columbia, Missouri, it was 36-7, an absolute beatdown of the Tennessee Volunteers, ranked number 13 by the number 14 Missouri Tigers. Brady Cook, 275 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Biggest upset of the day, UCF, 45-3 over number 15 Oklahoma State. It was not even close. Texas Tech, 16-13 over number 16 Kansas. Number 21 Arizona, 34-31 over Colorado. As we hit the second half now. And that one is going to head into the end zone for a touchback. And Georgia will take over to start the third quarter. Anthony from Storgy Stories here with you as we are back for the third quarter officially now. And yeah. So we're seeing some highlights right now. I guess we'll run through a couple more scores. Number 22, Iowa shuts out unranked 6-4 Rutgers, 22-0. And here we go. Carson Beck, 1st and 10 for the 9-0 Dogs here. Back play action, throws, incomplete. Second and 10 now for Georgia after just miscommunication there with the offense. Back one man in the backfield, puts a man in motion left to right there. 2nd and 10 at the 25. He'll hand it off to his back, Edwards, who's going to get about 5 or so yards. As we're now 15 seconds into the quarter. In Baton Rouge, LSU up 17-14. The number 19 Tigers over unranked Florida. 3rd and 5 now for the Dogs. 14:30 left in the third quarter. A lot of personnel changes here for the offense. As it is 3rd and 5 from the 30. Back. Trying to draw the defense off sides. Puts a man in motion from the left to the right. Calls for it. Has it. Throws quick. And just another miscommunication there. And Carson Beck not happy with his receiver there. And now it's 4th and 5. And Ole Miss will get the ball back, trying to put themselves back into this game. It is raining in Athens. The first punt tonight from Georgia here. And let's see what happens. It is away. An absolute bomb to the 29 of Ole Miss. They will take over from there. Now let's look at some more scores from around college football. Number 23, Tulane beats unranked Tulsa 24-22 there in NOLA. 9-1, the Green Wave are on the season. Kansas State absolutely dominates Baylor 59-25, holding on for dear life in the poll there as Ole Miss starts it off with a nice little 3-4 yard run. Okay, 2nd and 6 now for Ole Miss. Dart under pressure, and he is sacked down to the 25. And this Dogs defense absolutely dominating this game so far. We've seen it in past years, and we are seeing it again. This is what wins championships for this Dogs team. The red and black are winning games because of this defense. The offense is great, don't get me wrong, but it's this defense that's winning them games. Dart throws deep, incomplete, 3-man in coverage there, and just a mix of a lot of guys in the way, and not such a great throw there by Jackson Dart. So it'll be 4th and 13, and Ole Miss will punt this ball away, wasting a golden opportunity for them. And they're going to fake the punt. First down, Ole Miss to midfield. What a beautiful fake punt, keeping them in this game. But there's a flag on the play, and Lane Kiffin is mad. Oh, man. Let's see what this call is here. Give me one quick. Okay, we are back. What a great fake punt. Dart. They're just going to run it for a couple yards. Second and 8 now. Good to see you, VicTube, in the chat. Dart has it. Hands it off for no gain. 11:30 left. 3rd and 8. Dart throws it deep off the receiver's hands, man. Fourth and 8 now. Let's see what Ole Miss does. They can't. The offense is just it's not rolling. Their defense is terrible too tonight. So yeah, Georgia's just dominating, and they will pump, but a flag on the play to the 10, and the returner taken out at about the 15. We will be back in a minute, but I'm going to take a break. And yeah, we'll see you on the other side. Okay, well, we're going to end the stream early here. Lincoln and I don't know about Reichley, but Lincoln and I both are done for tonight. I need some sleep. Lincoln has some stuff to do, American Football Network. So, yeah, I guess we're going to end this right here, and we'll see you all next time.